Welcome students. In this video, we will be discussing the recursive approach to check if a linked list has a loop. Okay, fine. So already we have been discussing about the iterative approach of the same concept, but we are now going to do the recursive concept of the same. So we will take the reference of the iterative approach and we will convert it into recursive. Before this concept, I think before for all the other concept that we have learned, we were directly converting the iterative approach into recursive approach, which is not going to work here. There is a little bit of changes that we need to do. Okay, fine. So now we'll start with okay, we will start again. Okay, we'll start with the function. It is going to have integer return type, a same. Each loop is going to, or each loop recursive, each loop is going to be the function. Next, it is going to take, this is going to take three argument. One is temp, address of the first node. Next one is p and q. P and q also I'm going to make it as an argument here. Okay, wait, let me tell you why I'm doing that. Temp, first one is struct node star temp, comma. Next one is struct node star p, and the next argument. Okay, 1 minute. Let me just move it inside. Yeah, fine. So the next argument struct node star q. Struct node star q. Okay. Now inside this block. Okay, inside this block. Okay, what I'm going to do? I entered inside. Now I want to convert this iterative approach into recursive approach, but I cannot directly check the same condition here, because here we, so far whatever we were using is just a normal while loop, but here what we are using is do while. Okay, do while means do a certain task and then go for checking. I cannot first of all give if condition and check, and then I cannot check and I cannot do recursive here. That's a one, that is why I say that here directly we will not be do the conversion. I'll tell you first thing. First time I need to check why are we doing this do block first of all and then the checking process, because initially p and q will be equal. P and q will be referring to first node. So when you place this condition checking before do block, automatically what will happen? P not equal to q will, it will become a false condition, because p and q are referring to first node initially. So after first movement only we need to go and check it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it manually. How manually it has to be done? If I will be checking if p is equal to q, and at the same time p is equal to temp. Okay, what is this condition telling us? This condition is telling that both p and q is same, equal, and at the same time p referring to first node temp. So p, q both are referring to first node. So when both are referring to first node, we no need of checking this condition. Only thing that we can do is this do block, whatever is in there in the do block. If p, q and temp, if all these three are equal, then do this step once. So if this condition is true, then I can do that three steps. But I always have insisted you, whenever there is a change in the argument of the function, you have to place a recursive call. P is one of your argument, Q is one of your argument, and both the arguments are changing here. P equal to P of next changing, Q equal to Q of next changing, and also one more time we are checking after moving Q whether Q is not equal to null. If Q is not equal to null, we will move one more time Q, or otherwise we will set it to null. Okay, fine. How to do these three steps here in the recursive code? I'm going to do a ternary condition here. I'm going to write a ternary condition here. I'll tell you what I'm going to write. First of all, I will check. See, after moving Q to Q of next and then checking Q not equal to null, why can't I directly check whether Q of next is equal to null, not equal to null? Instead of moving Q to Q of next and then checking Q not equal to null, why can't I directly check whether Q of next not equal to null? If q of next is not equal to null, I can do two jumps. Q can be jumped two times. But if q of next is equal to null, only one jump we will be able to do, and that also will reach null. So I can just directly assign null. So I will just simply, what I will do is I'll just call. I'll just make a recursive call. The recursive call is so not recursive call. First of all, I'll write ternary operation. Ternary operation is q of next. Q of next not equal to null. If q of next is not equal to null, if the condition is true, then definitely I can do two jumps. So if this condition is true, I will call recursively, I will call the same function, or is loop function I will again call, and I will be passing argument. Temp is not going to change, same temp. P is changing here. P is equal to P of next. So let me pass P of next, then comma. Next, what it is? Q can jump for two times. Am I right or wrong? Q can jump two nodes. So instead of Q, I will be passing Q of next of next. So Q of next means it is address of the next node. Q of next is address of the address of next node and then the address of next node. So two nodes you will be jumping. Suppose if you do Q of next, okay, so this is the recursive call that we are going to do. Going to do if Q of next not equal to null. Suppose if Q of next is equal to null, what can be done? Two jumps is not possible. Okay, because Q of next is null. How can I able to do Q of next? Null of next is not appropriate syntax. It will throw error because null is just a keyword which does not have any member called as next. We will not be able to do q of next if q of next is equal to null. So I will write colon says that if this condition whatever we have given, if it is false, so whatever we are going to give after this, okay, whatever you are going to do after this colon will be executed. So after colon, I will again recursively call the same function or is loop, and instead of temp I will pass the same temp. P of next also I will pass P of next same, but Q, instead of Q what I will be placing, I will be passing null. See, it's like the same it is like the same like it is like same ternary operation that I have written here. Okay, Q, when Q is not equal to null, and Q is not equal to null, we have to make Q of next, Q equal to Q of next, or otherwise Q equal to null. So if that condition Q of next not equal to null, if it is true, instead of q I am passing q of next. But if it is a false condition, I can take null instead of q. So I am just passing null instead of q. The same thing, but little bit of change that I am doing. Because here we are doing recursion. It's not like that iterative approach that we do. Okay, fine. So this should happen if p equal to q and the p equal to temp. Only this should be happening. Okay, if suppose if this condition is not true, I will be checking one more condition, else if. Now comes the original condition that whatever we have provided here. Okay, what's the condition here? The condition is p should not be equal to true, p not equal to null. So else if p not equal to null, and what's the condition? And q also should be not equal to null, and one more condition is finally p should be not equal to q. Yes, if all these three conditions are true, then again I can repeat the same process. Okay, see, this is I'm doing for executing do block first, and then this is I'm writing for all the next iteration that needs to be repeated. So if this else if is true, if this else if condition, if it is evaluated to true, then I will be doing the same process. I'll just copy the same line of code, only we will be repeating. Okay, let me copy it and let me just paste it here. Yes, the same, thing will be doing. Now I'll just close this curly braces. Close this curly braces. Suppose if both these conditions are becoming false, okay, both the conditions are becoming false, what we have to do? Will be writing a else condition, where in the else condition we will be returning, we'll be checking that this statement have to be executed. So same statement, what we will do, we will be return, we'll be checking a condition p equal to q. If p equal to q, if it is true, then I will be returning 1, or else I will return 0. That's it. Okay, so else condition I can close, and the loop, I mean entire function also I can close. First time I will check whether p, q, temp, all these things are equal. If all the three pointers are equal, then I will directly do these 3 steps, and then only I have to go for checking. So I will do these 3 steps. That 3 steps I have done here with the help of a ternary operator. Then after this is done, suppose if this condition is not true, then we will go for this condition checking, while condition. So else if this while whatever you have given here, that will make the condition. That condition is true, then again you have to repeat the same set of process that you do inside do. So already you have written a ternary operator to do all the process that has been done inside do block. So again I'm copying the same, and I'm just have pasted here. Else condition, which means this above condition is also not true, this condition is also not true. So when both are evaluated to false, now it is time for us to check what p and q are doing. If one of p and q pointer becomes null, then definitely it is a linear loop. No loop is available. It's a linear linked list, no loop. But if p and q becomes equal after this process, then we should be returning 1, because it has definitely a loop, and there is no loop if both are not equal. It's linear if p and q are not equal. Yes, fine. So this is the recursive approach of the same iterative approach that we saw for finding whether there is any loop or not. Okay, fine. So there is little bit of changes that we have done when we are converting the iterative approach to recursive approach. There are a lot of changes that we have done because of this do while nature. Do while nature, what we have done, we have separately, we have checked for one condition and also 2 conditions that we wanted to check because of this do while nature. Right, fine. So next video we will start with the implementation of both iterative as well as recursive approach, and then we will get into the time and space complexity analysis of it. Right, thank you so much.